So it's a man who's out there everywhere in the fitness scene. He is a health expert on site. He consults fitness and health clubs. He knows the pressure, the needs, the changes. He's also an expert of the DSSV. He himself owns a sports medicine training center. Well, the little cracky noises will refer to the mic. So the next speaker knows the fitness sector from many, many different angles, knows the pressure many fitness clubs are under, more and more providers, tougher conditions, lower prices. So which opportunities does EMS provide for meeting the challenges to personal training? Which the opportunities does EMS offer for the fitness market and the fitness clubs? Thomas Kemmerling, thank you very much for these kind words of introduction. Thank you for having me here. It's nice that a few of you have stayed here, so I assume that those sitting here own a fitness studio. And I think the topic I will be talking about and will underline by some basic data is of tremendous importance for each and every operator of a fitness studio. You heard where I come from, who I am. Here are a few personal details. I am an expert for health providers for the DSSV. I get around quite a lot. I also consult companies, including the practices of physiotherapists and rehab centers, and I know quite well what's happening out there in the market. And I would like to look ahead into the future and tell you what I think is going to happen based on some key data. So to what effect does EMS personal training represent a major opportunity for studio owners? And we should seize this opportunity with both hands. So what about the German fitness market? Currently, we've got as many members as never ever before. After 1 year's time, we kept growing, and it's 10.08 million people. So we've got a response rate of 12.3% compared with the previous year. A clear increase, a clear rise. And of course, well, we are also attractive and sexy for other industrial areas too. And they say, oh, growth market is always lucrative. I just enter this market, I hop in, I get something for my money, so to speak. So when I talk about the membership increase in 2016, so we have to talk about where do the 10.05 million people come from. Then we have to take a closer look at growth rates and what do we find that fitness chains have seen an 11.4% increase. Then individual companies, the fitness studios, only 2% membership growth at the EMS market. And this is an important figure even now. There we have got a clear increase, a 20% increase we experienced. What does it mean to us? Who's responsible for all this growth in the fitness area? Quite obviously, the big players, everybody knows. Well, what do they rely on? Mass. It's a number of members, and this always means that they are doing some crowding out due to low prices, and we've got inflationary fitness prices, and this will continue to be the trend. When you think that we have reached the end of this development in your market, no, I can tell you no, prices will go further down. So how can you fend this development off? And this is what I'm going to talk about in the coming 30 minutes. So what do they do in addition to the rest? They've got a huge high-quality offer. To make a difference based on hardware is hardly possible anymore. And when I list these studios, you know them. You see it with the price, for example, Fit One. There you simply walk past. You know that there is a lot of movement out there in the market. Seeing who's behind these companies is also an interesting undertaking. For example, the Schmidt Group. The Schmidt Group is hiding behind FitX. And when I tell you that Schmidt Group has got a lot of money, they are game halls, and they simply convert their premises into fitness studios. Large offer for little money. The response? when I move on, well, is that there are other providers from the same market, like Magic Casinos. This is what's behind the Joker Group. This is what's behind Fit One. And there's a tremendous amount of money. There's plenty of funds there to back them up. So when you've got such competitors, things are getting really difficult. And now you witness them expanding. They move into more smaller and regional areas, and the fight for the fitness market is then fought on the shoulders of the individual fitness entrepreneur, quite logically speaking. So you see the fight, the struggle. They have got a large and extensive offer, so it's difficult to make a difference based on hardware. And yeah, you've got major dimensions in marketing. McFit, the spring offer, $4.99 for the first 6 months. This is the response to an excess offer, surplus offer out there in the market. You can hardly join in. You see how inflationary the price is in the field of fitness. The consequences for the fitness market, war under the discounter chains to gain a predominance in the fitness market. And this applies a price slump for fitness, which will be more and more perceivable for each and every company, and the market situation for, well, some companies that do not have an USP is getting more and more delicate. And here EMS personal training represents a major opportunity for many fitness entrepreneurs for making a difference if you set it up with a good concept and implement it based on such a good concept. And I would like to give you an example here. And what's happening in the States? What do we see there? Before I talk about this, I would like to, put it all into a nutshell. Privately managed clubs, and in addition to that, you've got these huge fitness chains, and they're out there, not on their own in the market, but there's the special interest field, which also comes in. And special interest is like EMS micro studios. They keep growing more and more members. We could see this before. It's a special interest, and to be quite honest, when I look at this hall here, it's mainstream and no longer a niche. It doesn't represent a niche anymore. Whoever claims that EMS is a niche, well, is still lagging behind and not facing reality. And apart from that, we've got other special interest areas, CrossFit or physiotherapies with movement, exercise offers. And why does this market keep growing? What is the special interest area doing differently? Why is it growing? Easy and simple. First, it's different from those out there in the main playing field. And what is this special interest doing different? They underline and emphasize the service. And if you, as a privately managed club, see this, you have to underline your service, and you have to be able to communicate it in a uniform way. People move people. And people spend money for people, not only for devices. And so what does a privately owned club have to do? They should have and implement EMS as a shop-in-shop system. And not only that, but other services should be added. So a privately managed club should turn into a specialist for problem solutions designed for various target groups. You have to be willing and ready to let go of some target groups, but you have to communicate clearly to the outside world. What do I stand for? What do I provide? A clear differentiation from the competitors means to offer solutions, and then customers with a high willingness to pay money for a service in this particular respect. And then you have to allow a change in paradigm, going away from the rental agreement to the service agreement. This is, in my opinion, the assignment we should give to a privately managed club, and this gives you an increase in membership. And I would also like to explain that today. And this way, you secure your future. Looking at demographic changes, and I'm not talking about the response rate I just showed, but those, of the 80% that are not members of fitness studios yet, there are people who 30 to 40 years ago said, I do not want to do sports at school. I do not want to do any sports, and they would like to get back into sport. And here EMS is tremendously exciting because the initial hurdle and impediment is low. So the market is dividing up, and for a long time we thought that it's between discount and premium. And as an expert, I can tell you that the recent years have clearly shown that this is not the case, but that we will rather have a distinction between fitness and specialist. And behind the specialist, we could say, in brackets, health. Who can best resolve people's problems? Avoiding pain plays a major role, in time efficiency too, of course, at least for the majority of people concerned. So the question is, how can I then distinguish myself in the future? This is what each and every privately managed fitness studio have to ask itself. And maybe it's one of the reasons why these people have come here today to attend this trade fair. I promised that I would look to the States. The trend is dual membership. What does it mean? So members, fitness members in the States, they've got a fitness membership for which they pay about $20 to a large provider where they get everything. And in parallel, they have got a second membership. 27% of members in the States have got a second membership in the so-called boutique studios. And these boutique studios are what I just described as special interest. So look at the margin there. That is $90 per month for one-to-one or group PT. So I turn to the specialist there. And on the left-hand side, I've got my basic supplies, so to speak. And I think that this trend will also be reflected in Germany, that we will witness a trend towards a dual membership. I turn to a specialist who helps me. And in parallel, I am then a member of a cheap club where I get basic needs covered. This is a trend we currently witness in the States, and in a digital world we do not have another, 10 years to wait until we will have it, because it's actually already here and exists. So the factor human being plays a major role. Human beings are moving human beings. So back to the question, how shall I distinguish myself in the future? This is a question on everybody's mind here, of those who stayed at least. Well, it's about people via people. So now, what service can I use to back it up? What does this person need to do? Has to be qualified and competent, with Mr. Forbuse, or now I have to be competent. I have to be able to convey what I do and convey my message from a user's perspective. And I need devices supporting me in my endeavors. And the best that comes to mind is EMS personal training at the moment. Whether we are talking about Body Street, micro studios, that is, or then all the other providers, or then going back, major opportunity, shop-in-shop system within the fitness studios. Here, I emphasize the service, and it's appreciated, and people pay for it, and we've got practical examples for that. It's not a theory. We didn't think about it. Only there are 10 institutions that run the system, and they are highly successful. EMS personal training, you can see it. She's there, sitting there. Well, this personal trainer, who wants to see her live, she's sitting right there at the back. So let's see why the EMS market is so exciting to us. Well, it's demand and supply, right? Here, the Fitogram forecast, the search volume for EMS training keeps increasing. It goes up from year after year, starting in 2014, now 2017. People are looking for this term. It has turned into a mainstream now. It's no longer a niche market. 190,000 people are training in the EMS market. I've got plenty of figures all the time, but it's just not a miracle. And the forecast for the next 3 years is that there will be about 3,000 EMS providers in Germany with 500,000 individuals training there. And I'm firmly convinced that this will hold true. And you have to face the situation, and you shouldn't let this particular opportunity pass you. And this is my call upon the studio owners. And this is also something that is corroborated. There's hardly a magazine, whatever, where you don't read about EMS training. The end users of obtain more and more information on what EMS training can do for them. Just take a look at the editorial coverage regarding EMS training. In 2014, 15, 16, you see that things are increasing, that there's more and more information conveyed about EMS training, and this underlines what's happening out there in this particular industry. The analysis for EMS training based on Google News. Well, this is something you really have to digest. So there's plenty of it. There is a density of communication, as I call it. Acceptance exists, and it is on the rise permanently. Science makes its contribution. And then in the morning, the previous speakers confirmed the significance of the training and how good it is and what dangers it implies. And this is why it has to be done via personal training. You need a human being to tell you what to do. And then what it boils down to, what is right or wrong, is decided by the end user, not us here or me standing here and talking to you, but people out there, and they want it. So if you look at what they're willing to pay, this is unbelievably attractive. An average, subscription fee of, then 1 week training is €19.90 if you have, 24 months. And if you compare it with fitness, then there is plenty of them there. So there world in between. So this, the facts, they show us major opportunities for owner-managed fitness studios. This is what I said with the average, contribution of €92 per month. And then looking at which target group is addressed. What does the EMS target group want? They want motivation and safety based on a personal trainer. Looking at this target group is a meaningful exercise. We did it for 18 months. We researched why do these micro studies coming up, and why are they mushrooming? What do people appreciate? Well, first of all, the end user says, I want to be motivated and I need safety based on personal training. Then it has to be plannable, regularity. It's a fixed appointment I have, and it better, fits into people's lives, in particular the target group. I try to explain to you those who 30 to 40 years ago said no to sports, in school, for example, and need to want to get in again, and then it has to be something I can integrate into my everyday life, because it's a short period and span of time it requires, and this is what a personal trainer has to understand. Often, a personal trainer says, I'm a 5-star chef and I want to give people plenty, everything, and this is the major danger right there, because the end user comes for these reasons, and for this one, only 20 minutes, please, no more, because otherwise, actually, I don't think that movement is fun. A sports student, learns from easy things to more difficult things, from light to heavy. You have the possibility of putting up a low threshold, and this is a major potential for a fitness studio, because there's a synergy effect. If I get people on board via this close connection to a trainer, personal trainer, I manage to add on further offers, not immediately, but over time. And this way I could further develop people. This is why you become a personal trainer in the first place. It's willingness to help other people to further develop and get better and enhance their performance. Then the simplicity of movement sequences also plays a role, and it's joint friendly. To be quite honest, EMS training is something everybody can do. There's hardly any contraindication. It's a minimum thing, because sitting down and getting up, this is something everybody can do, in my opinion at least. Then it's, the success is visible. It's something I perceive. People who do not like movement so much, they do have some perceivable success. EMS training gives you this feeling, and when you do it, of course, it should be exclusive. Exclusive also for the owners of fitness studios. Don't move around and buy an equipment. The device as such will not help you, and earn you a living, but things have to fit your premises, exclusiveness, the environment, the feeling has to be right. This doesn't mean that it's next to the leg press when you have your training with the EMS customer. And this is why the micro studios work so well, is this exclusive aspect. And then we need a feeling which is different from what I have in a fitness club in other respects. It's an easy solution which backs it up. It's easy. And as I mentioned before, sports science comes in, the lower the hurdle towards behavioral change, that is movement, the easier it's for human beings, the easier they may implement it. So it's a low hurdle, so to speak. Let's take a look at the difference, why people decide in favor of a discount via price. This is the movement threshold, which only works via price. The lower the price, the lower the threshold for starting. I say I do it, and even if I don't go there, 15 euros won't hurt me. 5 euros, like with McFit, they won't hurt me either. And I said, okay, let's go and continue. It's okay. And there are some places, Fit One in Stuttgart, and I pay a minimum fee. Then it does make sense because I can park there. And when you know about parking issues in Stuttgart, you say, well, then it's even worthwhile having, well, this membership in a fitness studio. Differently speaking, the low price is the initial threshold. And then here in EMS personal training, we do have a different hurdle and threshold. It's about factors, well, of the work, the expenses, and, well, it's then met via security, motivation, and the factor time. And this is why people go there and, take out a membership. They say these factors play a major role in whoever, study management, studies Pavlov, pyramid. It's avoid pain and use your time as efficiently as you can. There are 30 basic needs, and 2 important ones are satisfied this way. So what is the solution for existing fitness companies? It can only be that I go along and say, don't forget this trend in the States, this shop, the willingness, their EMS training as a shop-in-shop solution. You've got a major opportunity then. Here are a few figures from Germany. The figures I show you were based on a study that was conducted by emsmarket.de, and those training EMS were asked whether they are a member of a different fitness studio too, and 20% gave an affirmative answer. They are members of a fitness studio and in parallel of a micro studio. 25%. What does this imply? It's nearly the same as we've seen with regard to the trend in the States. So the second membership, the dual membership, 25%. So it's an enlargement of our target group. And this is what I would like to underscore. It's not about people who like fitness anyway. No, we primarily talk about those who would like to get back into this fitness movement. And you shouldn't compare apples and oranges. Well, some of you might eat an apple and a pear, well, maybe me too. But then what we have is the apple on the one hand side. Well, I take the apple that says, well, I think that physical exercise is good. I can motivate myself. This is the clear person interested in fitness, and this is your existing member, your traditional member. It's not about expanding your offers or services to existing members. No, it's about targeting a new group, those who avoided the studios before because they have got little time, only little physical exercise they do, and hardly any intrinsic motivation. And those are the individuals interested in EMS, a different target group, but it accounts for 80% of the population. Let me get back to my initial chart, our response rate. Think about the fact that more than 80% are not members of a fitness studio because maybe they are working in other clubs. So when I go along and say the advantages of an EMS shop-in-shop solution is that I can distinguish myself better from the competitor and I can position myself better. So it's an exciting topic for each and every owner of a fitness studio. And second, the well, you expand your business by adding a different business field for gaining a new target group. And then in brackets underneath, you are less dependent on the classical fitness market. It's about freedom, about independence we are speaking here. And then what you see, what you can earn on 40 square meters, it's 200,000 euros plus in terms of sales. There are 10 organizations working on the basis of this system, and they're all successful within the framework of 12 months only. What are the other upsides of a shop-in-shop solution versus a standalone micro studio? Well, you've got a parking space, and it can easily be reached. Well, with the fitness studios, you've got your parking spaces, and the duration of people who stay there and use it is a maximum of 30 minutes. So this is an important benefit you can then leverage. And another advantage we discovered is the staffing you need when you've got well-trained and qualified staff that already exist, also extend their activities to this field. And it's fun to them. It's something different when I tell them for 20 minutes you will, for 20 hours you will in this personal spit box, and 20 hours in the fitness area. 2 hours here, 2 hours there won't work, but you have to structure it differently. It's a new field of work, lots of fun for the trainer. Then you use the reception area and all the telephone contacts you have. When you want to call micro studios, well, availability on the phone was a major problem, because when I'm right in the middle of a training, I cannot answer the phone at the same time. And this is a problem which you do not encounter in a fitness studio. You can also use this resource, and it's a major advantage too. Another advantage is existing offers I do have. When I slowly further develop people, threshold low, take people by the hand, and then there's one or the other service, I can also offer a service which I offer anyway. And this way I remain attractive, because new is always beautiful. So, the necessary path ahead for a fitness club has to be the following. Today, at the very latest tomorrow, to run a multi-pillar strategy. Currently, nearly all studios, they generate major sales from fitness contributions. They account for 90% of the sales. This is via membership fees. And this is a problem. Quite obviously, due to the changes I just described, the changes hitting our in-sector. So how can I generate additional sales? By starting, and this is step number one, to have a shop-in-shop system that ensures additional sales. I integrate existing companies, and EMS is ideally suited for doing so. And so my sales do not only grow, but then when I take some figures, it's not only growth, but due to the synergy effect, I have got a member retention. So fitness sport, 900 members, EMS shop-in-shop, 200 members. And I say, okay, 20 members per month I get in the area of fitness, 15 members per month in shop-in-shop. So they're different target groups. And I promise you that these people would not have come for your fitness offer. No, they came for what we've got there on the right-hand side. And their average membership fees average is 52 euros for fitness in Germany, and we wrote down 55 right here. And up there, I've got an average membership fee of 98 euros per month. When I refer this to an overall space of 800 square meters, and I have 45 square meters out of this, 98 euros per person here, and sales per year 594,000, and down there 235,000. When I've got 800 square meters, 900 members, and here with 45 square meters and 200 members, simply due to the high fees they pay. If that's not worthwhile, I don't know. And if I haven't triggered some thinking in you and, made you take action, I don't know what else to do. This is inevitable in the EMS market. This is going to rise and grow. It will hit the ceiling and go through more than we've been used to. You see it every year by year, when you look at the number of people exhibiting their products in the hall. So where do I want to see the future? These are the elementary 3 questions a fitness studio owner has to ask themselves. Where do I want to be in the future? Where do I get my members from? Where do I recruit them? And how do I generate my sales? Because only generating sales based on fitness, this won't work anymore. Some of you might still live on an island, but when you come from cities like Hamburg, Dortmund, Essen, Düsseldorf, etc., the big ones, the situation looks quite different. And it's a matter of time, and then it will move on, spill over. So you expand your company by a lucrative and innovative field of business. You integrate EMS personal training based on a concept, and you integrate it in an existing company. I hope that it wasn't boring for you. You had some key data on the fitness economy, a few data and facts. I will be available for questions at the coffee bar right there at the back, and I will be available throughout the 4-day period. Should you want to obtain information on the shop and shop concept, right there, the 2 gentlemen who've got a little leaflet there, you can pick one up should you be interested. And well, that was all on my part for today, and if you liked it, you can also give me a hand. So see you again tomorrow.